With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 1 of 4.
Etc.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Transcendence is only attainable by the abandonment of human life in a nirvana beyond all existence, or by attainment to another world, a heaven quite otherwise constituted than this material universe. Please continue watching to hear more wisdom from the writings of Sri Aurobindo, vegetarian.
I've been passionate about animal welfare for some time now. I don't eat meat or dairy anymore. That's not for my health. I just don't believe in eating animals. Nick Kyrgios, vegan.
Namaste, charitable viewers. I'm Veer. The gracious Indian people praise your kindness and compassionate vegan lifestyle. May we all endeavor to attend and share heaven's unconditional love. Welcome to part 2 of The Ego and the Dualities, selections from The Life Divine by Sri Aurobindo, vegetarian, on Words of Wisdom. India is the home of many great spiritual masters who have brought wisdom and truth to earth. Their lives and compassionate teachings inspire us to seek a higher purpose in life, thus uplifting humanity to a more divine state of being. One such great figure is the spiritual master, yogi, philosopher, poet and politician Sri Aurobindo, who graced our planet from 1872 to 1950. Sri Aurobindo's time as a politician was dedicated to achieving India's independence. However, after inner reflection, Sri Aurobindo retired from politics and service to his country. His aspirations turned instead toward the liberation of all humanity. Sri Aurobindo traveled to Pondicherry on the southeastern coast of India, where he retreated into the practice of silent yoga. Based on the inner knowledge revealed to him during his spiritual practice, Sri Aurobindo began publishing writings full of wisdom. Originally written by Sri Aurobindo between 1914 and 1919, The Life Divine describes the spiritual journey that unfolds as a person sincerely seeks the highest truth. Such a journey leads to the soul's awakening and the direct experience of divinity. Today we continue to present to you excerpts from Chapter 7, The Ego and the Dualities, from the book The Life Divine. Chapter 7, The Ego and the Dualities. Equally, an enlargement of our mental consciousness out of the experience of the egoistic dualities into an unregulated unity with some form of total consciousness might easily bring about a confusion and incapacity for the active life of humanity in the established order of the world's relativities. This, no doubt, is the root of the injunction imposed in the Gita on the man who has the knowledge not to disturb the life basis and thought basis of the ignorant. For, impelled by his example, but unable to comprehend the principle of his action, they would lose their own system of values without arriving at a higher foundation. Such a disorder and incapacity may be accepted personally and are accepted by many great souls as a temporary passage, or is the price to be paid for the entry into a wider existence. But the right goal of human progress must be always an effective and synthetic reinterpretation, by which the law of that wider existence may be represented in a new order of truths, and in a more just and powerful working of the faculties on the life material of the universe. For the senses, the sun goes round the earth. That was for them the center of existence, and the motions of life are arranged on the basis of a misconception. The truth is the very opposite, but its discovery would have been of little use if there were not a science that makes the new conception, the center of a reasoned and ordered knowledge, putting the right values on the perceptions of the senses. So also for the mental consciousness, God moves round the personal ego, and all his works and ways are brought to the judgment of our egoistic sensations, emotions, and conceptions, and are there given values and interpretations which, though a perversion and inversion of the truth of things, are yet useful and practically sufficient in a certain development of human life and progress. They are a rough practical systematization of our experience of things valid so long as we dwell in a certain order of ideas and activities. But they do not represent the last and highest state of human life and knowledge. Truth is the path and not the falsehood. The truth is not that God moves round the ego as the center of existence and can be judged by the ego and its view of the dualities, but that the divine is itself the center, and that the experience of the individual only finds its own true truth when it is known in the terms of the universal and the transcendent. Nevertheless, to substitute this conception for the egoistic without an adequate base of knowledge may lead to the substitution of new but still false and arbitrary ideas for the old, and bring about a violent instead of a settled disorder of right values. Such a disorder often marks the inception of new philosophies and religions and initiates useful revolutions. But the true goal is only reached when we can group round the right central conception, a reasoned and effective knowledge in which the egoistic life shall rediscover all its values transformed and corrected. Then we shall possess that new order of truths which will make it possible for us to substitute a more divine life for the existence which we now lead, and to effectualize a more divine and powerful use of our faculties on the life material of the universe. That new life and power of the human integer must necessarily repose on a realization of the great verities which translate into our mode of conceiving things the nature of the divine existence. It must proceed through a renunciation by the ego of its false standpoint and false certainties, through its entry into a right relation and harmony with the totalities of which it forms a part, and with the transcendences from which it is a descent, and through its perfect self-opening to a truth and a law that exceed its own conventions, a truth that shall be its fulfillment, and a law that shall be its deliverance. Its goal must be the abolition of those values which are the creations of the egoistic view of things. Its crown must be the transcendence of limitation, ignorance, death, suffering, and evil. The transcendence, the abolition are not possible here on earth and in our human life, if the terms of that life are necessarily bound to our present egoistic valuations. If life is in its nature individual phenomenon and not representation of a universal existence and the breathing of a mighty life, spirit, if the dualities, which are the response of the individual to its contacts, are not merely a response, but the very essence and condition of all living, if limitation is the inalienable nature of the substance of which our mind and body are formed, disintegration of death, the first and last condition of all life, its end and its beginning, pleasure and pain, the inseparable dual stuff of all sensation, joy and grief, the necessary light and shade of all emotion, truth and error, the two poles between which all knowledge must eternally move, then transcendence is only attainable by the abandonment of human life in a nirvana beyond all existence, or by attainment to another world, a heaven quite otherwise constituted than this material universe. For more information, please visit Sri Aurobindo Ashram.org.
Continue to eat meat so that you can know what lonely suffering is like when you are in hellfire and no one helps you.
Marvelous viewers, we appreciate your company today for words of wisdom. Coming up next is SM Celestial Clothes, Fashion of the Golden Age, Part 10 of a multi-part series, right after Noteworthy News. May the flower of your inner wisdom bloom in heavenly splendor.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule и suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Манай нэвтрүүлгүүд олон хэлээр гардаг. Зочлох хаяг suprememastertv.com/schedule болон suprememastertv.com/WOW